Visiting Zagan here in Poland, the scene of the Great Escape, which is in Stalag Luft III. I'm standing now where the camp used to be. A lot of it is gone. There were actually three camps here: North Camp, South Camp, and West. Over here, over my shoulder, you can see Hut 104. It's a replica, which is the one where they dug the tunnel Harry from, and we're going to go look at Harry after this. Currently over here, the Polish military are doing some CQB training or something with Americans. I think it's from, because of the problems in Ukraine, there's a lot of troops here now doing training in a training ground near here. And you can see that all the buildings that used to be here are now destroyed. And this is the woods where they would have run through as well when they escaped and dug the tunnel to get out. So we're going to go over here and check out the camp where the Royal Air Force were imprisoned. There was actually three camps. The Royal Air Force were put in one, Americans were put in another, in one of the other camps as well. And we'll go take a look around and see if we can find any relics from this time. This is now all overgrown, but this was all once part of the camp. In fact, over here you can see a lot of the new trees that have been planted since. And down here is some relics, parts of buildings that were once here. There's a map in the museum where you can see the layout of the camp, so you can actually see what buildings stood where, which is quite interesting. But it's a very detailed, it's a very large camp. We'll walk down this way. I should say that although I said the British camp with the Royal Air Force, but there was also pilots that were from Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Dutch, French. So there was a lot of the other different countries that were involved. Were put into the Air Force camp, and then soldiers from the Army were put into the Army camp, which is on the other side. And then the Americans were put in with all of them, but then they were separated to their own camp later on, and that's why they didn't actually take part in the Great Escape. They helped build the tunnel, but they were moved before the escape happened in March in 1944. Now in the film, when they make the escape, it looks like it's done in the spring or summertime. The escape was done in March, and it was cold. There was snow on the ground. A lot of guys thought that they could have made it. There was only 3 people that got away. A lot of guys thought they could have made it, but because of the cold and the snow, they got captured by various different ways. Soldiers in town, they ventured into the town. They knocked on doors of houses for shelter, and they got captured that way. So had it been another 2 months later, many more would have got away. So there were 76 soldiers that escaped from the camp, and of those 76, 3 of them got away. The others were returned to camp, but 50 were taken out and shot. Their bodies were brought back to camp here and kept here. There's a memorial we'll go look at later. And then after the war, their remains were taken to Poznan Cemetery and buried there. So it's quite fascinating that there's this whole place is overgrown now, and it's you see some buildings over here, you see something up here, but just fragments of buildings. But we'll go look at the Tunnel Harry, which is up here as well. We're at the camp of Stalag Luft III. Here is Tunnel Harry, which is the one that the soldiers, the airmen used to escape from. And back there at the beginning, where you can see the cement slab back there, that open space up there, that would have been Hut 104, where the tunnel was started. And it came along here. All the buildings that were here are now gone, save this tower here, this guard tower. But the tunnel came along here and up to about here. It was 365 feet long that they dug, and they ended up a little bit short of the woods. As you can see, I don't know how the woods would have looked like back then in 1944, in March of 1944. But this is where they came out here. This is the end of Harry. They would have come out here, gone into these woods here, and Over in this direction, roughly that direction, is a train station. We're going to go over there next and look at the train station. It's probably about half a kilometer or a kilometer through those trees. And some of them would have escaped to the train station, got on the train. Some of them would have escaped on foot through these woods here. But this was where the camp would have stood. This is the exit here. The wire would have been back here somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. Probably in line with the tower, maybe, or maybe the tower was, from the model, it looks like the tower is a little bit outside the wire. So the wire probably would have been a little bit further back, maybe 10, 15 meters further back. And that empty space back there where you can see the end of the tunnel is where Hut 104 would have stood. And in fact, we've passed a couple of foundations of huts back here. This is quite a large camp. It held at its maximum 10,000 airmen were put here from various countries. And here is where the 79 soldiers escaped from this tunnel. 3 were caught here, 3 were captured, which left 76 to get away. Of those 76, 3 made it to their home destination. 23 were captured and returned to various camps. Some returned here, some were sent to, I think 4 were sent to Sachsenhausen concentration camp, 2 to Kolditz, which is a castle not far from here near to Dresden. And then 50 were taken out and shot, not all together like it's portrayed in the film, but separately, 2 here, 3 there. I think the maximum was 10 at one time. They were shot, and then their remains were sent back to the camp here, buried here at a memorial, which we will go up and look at after. And then after the war, their remains were sent to Poznan and buried in the Commonwealth, the war cemetery there. So this is history here, which is portrayed in the film The Great Escape. Standing behind me here is the foundation of the cooler, which you will know if you watch the film, where Steve McQueen is sent many times into the cooler. So this was where the cooler stood, the foundation. And as you can see, the Tunnel Harry is right here behind me, this way going up here. So it passed very close to the entrance to the cooler. All the buildings here in Stalag Luft III are now destroyed, except for a few of them maybe. I'll turn here, and you can see here's another building here, which I believe was a recreation area here. There's a tunnel marked by this trail here, and there's the cooler, there's the tower, and that sign there is the exit to Harry, and into the woods they would have gone. So here's where Hut 104 would have stood right here. It's not here now, obviously. And these trees would have not been there because there would have been numerous other huts over to this way here, this direction here, and over this way. You can see the tower there through the trees on just right there. You can see it. And this is the entrance that was in Hut 104 right here. This is the entrance. And the white sign at the end there was the exit. It was 365 feet. They dug approximately 10 meters down, and then to that marker down there. They have the names here of the people who had escaped, and as you can see, the countries are there. For example, Norway. Black names mean that they were the part of the ones of the 50 who were executed. The green were the ones that got home back to their country, and the blue were the ones that were recaptured. And there's Canadians, and there's the Australians, and the Czechs are there. And this just says The Great Escape, 24-25 March 1944. There's the Polish. They were all executed. Lithuanians too. There's the British, and they had about half and half that were executed, and blue ones were sent home. Were sent to other camps. And that's all the names there. And now we're going to go over to the train station where a lot of them escaped, got on the train to get out of the land. So we're here at the Zagan train station, railway station. If you look over my shoulder, my left shoulder right here, you can see the wood line here, and through the woods approximately 500, 600, 700 meters is the tunnel Harry, where they came out. So they had to go through these woods and onto the train station here. It's quite big now. It was a lot smaller back then. There's the train station building, which I'm told is the original building but has been renovated there. But inside they have the original ticket booth where they bought tickets from to jump on various trains going in different directions. This line goes to Berlin this way up here, and Katowice behind me. So it's a line going basically east to west. That'll do it for here. We're going to go over and look at the monument to the 50 who were killed, and then we'll wrap this up. We're at the cemetery near Stalag Luft III camp, which is where after the 50 escapees were shot on the orders of Hitler, they were brought here, and their ashes were buried here. And after the war, they were then exhumed, and sent to Poznan, further north here in Poland. So this is a memorial to them here, and over there you can see another large memorial over there, and that is prisoners from World War I and World War II. Mostly Russian prisoners are buried over there, but there are 2 Americans and 2 British pilots who are buried over there in 4 graves, which I think you can probably see right there. Those ones there, those are the pilots of Americans and British that are buried there. And this here is a marker that was erected by the prisoners of the camp, memories of the 50 who were killed. So this is a memorial. There's actually no, I don't believe there's anybody buried here. This is a memorial to the 50, and it was originally Adolf Hitler wanted to kill all of the prisoners that escaped from the camp, but Himmler decided it would not be a good idea, because when the Allies found out about it, they would probably execute German pilots. So they decided not to kill the 76 prisoners, or 73 that they caught, but just 50. So that was very nice of them, and that's sarcasm, of course. And this is Russian cemetery here for World War I, mostly World War I prisoners, but there are some World War II ones there as well. That concludes the visit to Stalag Luft III here. It's been interesting. If you get the chance, worth the while to come around. It's not commercialized. There's not a lot of tourism going on here, so everything is really original. And it's one of the better places that I visited. I really like it.